Hello, hello, and welcome to Front Row Vendors podcast. I am your host, Autumn, and I have got like the most stylish lady in front of me. She's got like these really cute earrings with this awesome like orange, burnt orange blazer with his long flowy hair. And I could get into more about giving you more information about what she looks like, but I'm going to make sure that you know her name, which is Santara. And this is going to be super easy because her business is Santara Flowers, whose florals will actually make you want to get married over and over again. And it's no joke. I went through her entire website and her flowers are just breathtaking. It almost makes you like want to just stand there and look at art. So I'm just going to get right on into it with Santara. So how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on too.
Yeah, of course. I was like, a podcast? What? Yes.
Hell yeah. So you were saying you are based out of Lenore, North Carolina. So you've got like some hip brides who are close to Asheville and maybe even some in Charlotte.
Yeah, love the mountains. Love traveling for weddings, all that.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
tell us about you. Tell us about you and your background.
sure. So I grew up in this area. I went to college in Virginia, and when I was in college, I've wanted to do flowers for a really long time, and my sophomore year of college, there is a company called Petal Flower Company, um, and I saw their work, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to work for them because I didn't know how to work with flowers at all at the time. I knew nothing about them other than I wanted to do it. And so I contacted the owner, Alicia Dudley at the time. Well, yeah, it still is. And I was like, I will literally sweep your floors. Like, please, please teach me how to do flowers. And she contacted me back like a couple months later, and the rest is kind of history. I was kind of like her right hand girl, and she taught me like everything that she knows. Now we're really, really good friends. I would consider her one of my best friends. But yeah,
Wow.
now she lives in Winston, and I live here, and I'm doing it myself. I've been doing it since 2016, like the fall of 2016. So yeah,
It is. It's so hard because there's courses and stuff that people will take to do flower arrangements, and it's harder than you actually think to actually put stuff like that together. So I know you have to have a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of being able to go, okay, this is somehow going to work. You got to plan it out perfectly because like I said, your bouquet of flowers are stunning.
thank you. I mean, I think it's a lot of just like trial and error and finding your style. And my husband gets on me all the time because I'm just like, I would be like glued to Instagram. But it's like, honestly, that is studying, just looking at arrangements that speak to you, that you love. I think that is like studying art, you know? I mean,
Right.
and you just practice and you get better. And yeah, yeah.
Have you done any kind of arrangements for like a ceremony, like up at the front where with the couples getting married? Have you done anything that's like really extravagant that was like one of your favorites?
Oh my gosh, there was this tree. There was this huge oak tree that I did this past fall, and we just put flowers down the entire front of it, and it's probably my most favorite design I've done to date. But I just love. I like to think I'm a minimalist, but I don't think I am. I think I'm like a maximalist. Like I love like cool, hip, like ikebana flowers, like the Asian inspired, just a couple
Yeah.
like stems coming out like in the movement. But I also love like lush, like romantic, fluffy roses just like pouring out of things. I don't know. I like lots of things, but yeah, that was probably a favorite today. It just was like all these roses coming down a tree.
Oh,
So yeah, it was
oh
really
my
fun.
God. Well, speaking of like flowers, is there like one type of flower that you are just in love with?
People ask florists this all the time, and it's really hard. Like, it's so hard. I love hellebore. I think that's a classic. It's this flower, and it blooms. it's also called the Lenten rose or a winter rose, but it blooms right about now. Like it's just now starting to come out of the ground. It's one of the only things that blooms at this time of the year, like right before tulips and everything like that. And it's really hardy, but it's beautiful, and it comes in these like mauve colors. But honestly, like I love roses, and I know like, but not like basic grocery store roses. Not, they're called sweetheart roses, not those, but like the like English garden roses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of plants. So backstory, me and my husband moved right back like to my home. He's from New York, but we moved back to this area where I grew up and are in this old farmhouse. And my studio is this old smokehouse that was on my family's property, and we renovated it. And the cellar of it, which was where they cured the meat, is now my flower cooler. So, and the top part is my studio. So it's been extremely convenient because it's in my backyard. But we planted all these roses, and we're trying to grow some of our own product too. So that's been really fun also. But we got all these old-timey roses, and it makes me so happy to be able to use those in brides bouquets, to like use something that I grew. So yeah.
Dang, that's awesome.
Thanks.
Ugh.
Thanks.
Is there like a do you feel like there's a like a color trend that you like to do, or is there one that's coming out that you're excited for?
I mean, I'm a real sucker for some moody flowers, like absolutely some moodiness. But I also love the dried elements that
Yeah.
is really popular also, like the tan, beigey, like burnt terracotta, deserty colors. I love that
Yes.
too. But I love using really unconventional colors too, like citrine, like limey yellow or buttery yellow, like things that aren't normal, that you like, not the typical like blush white green wedding, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God, I love
Yeah.
those colors. Um, with when a bride normally books with you, how does the process work? How does she get the flowers, and how do you guys talk about which one flowers are in season for her wedding?
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's a lot of brides that reach out to me that really don't feel like they have a good grasp on flowers. And I'm like, hey, that's okay. Like, that's what I'm paid to do. Like, it's fine. But I mean, I have a form on my website, and they go and fill it out. And I have a pricing guide. So I will, I usually send them a pricing guide, and it has a list of how much all this costs. And
Awesome.
I think that's helpful because they can see exactly what they're getting charged for. A lot of florists don't do that, but I really love it. Because I don't know, I just think I like to see what I'm buying,
Right.
Um, and they just send me over a list of all the items they want, and then I send them a quote with the color scheme, and pictures are fantastic. I'm very visual. Um, and then once they sign off on the quote, they're good to go until about a month before their wedding. And then I show up, and I'm a flower fairy, and I sprinkle flowers everywhere, and then I leave.
That's awesome. When do they
Yeah.
normally book with you? Like how far along into the wedding process?
It's like everywhere. It's like I've had people reach out to me like a year and a half in advance, and then I've had people like 4 months
Wow.
before their wedding, 2 months before their wedding. But I love last minute brides.
Really?
Like,
Why is
they're
that?
my favorite. I love them. I think it's because people, and like if you're like a super punctual type A person, like that's great. But like I'm like, part of me is like that, and then part of me is not like that at all. Like, I just love these brides that are last minute, like, you do you. And I'm like, yes, I will. And it always turns out so much better, I feel like, when that happens.
Oh, I
Like,
bet.
yeah, because I mean, I consider myself an artist. Like, I'm
You
a flower
are.
artist. And then I get to be an artist, and I don't have someone like, putting me in a box. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Is there
Yeah.
like a tip that you could give like the brides and the bridesmaids in order for them to help keep their flowers looking amazing throughout the whole wedding day?
It's hard, depending, there's a lot of things that are out of their control, obviously, like weather and flowers is huge. If you're getting married like in the direct sun, I mean, that's more like up to me, just making sure that they're hydrated and everything. But I don't know. I would say like bridesmaids, like carrying their bouquet around. Whenever I have someone like come into my studio that isn't used to being around flowers, it's so funny because they'll go up to like a white rose and like cradle it or like touch it. I'm like, don't touch it because they bruise. So I would say maybe like don't like touch or push the flowers against like your dress, things like that, just to keep them fresher looking, and don't maybe like lay them like on the face of the flowers on the table or things like that. Yeah,
Isn't
just be gentle.
isn't there something with the human oils, like you don't want to touch the petals because it will start to wilt them a little bit faster?
Yeah, I think that anytime they come into contact with many like things, once they get to a certain point, like they get a little bruisey, especially white flowers. Like always be mindful
Yeah.
of white flowers because they bruise pretty easy. Yeah.
Oh my
hmm
God. So what's something that you feel would make you stand out above another florist?
I mean, that's hard. I think all florists like love flowers. But I really love flowers. Like I could get emotional sitting here talking about
Oh
flowers.
man, that's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, I don't know. Especially in the winter when I'm not able to like be out in the garden or growing things, like, and I just feel cooped up and like I haven't been around live things like living like flowers, like plants. I get so like antsy. But I don't know. I think I've had a pretty good background for someone pretty young. I freelanced with Studio Mundine out of San Francisco, and they're incredible. They're like top trendy, like California. And then um, I got to freelance with Amy Osaba, and she's out of Atlanta, Georgia, and she's like the OG. Was like the florist when, like, you know how the wedding industry like popped like 10, 15 years ago, and
Yeah.
it just became this whole thing. Like she was the florist, and I got to work under her like for a couple weddings, and that was awesome. But I don't know, I love flowers and I want to stay like trendy. I don't want to like, feel confined by trends,
Right.
but um I like stretching myself and I like learning the background of flowers and how they're made, and they all have personalities, and you take care of different kinds of flowers different ways. I don't know. I just love them a lot, more than anyone. I love them the most.
Besides you really enjoying your last minute brides, is there another type of bride that you tend to book a little bit more?
um I think brides that are, I mean, I don't want to say like this is my bride.
Right.
All I can say is like this is how I am. And so if you appreciate how I am, you'll appreciate my work. And I like to think that I am I enjoy flowers that feel romantic. I want it to feel like it grew there. Like I want it, like when you go in an art museum and you see the old Dutch masters paintings of flowers, that's what I want it to feel like. Um, like this is art. This isn't just, something you picked up from the grocery store and threw in a vase. This has
Yeah.
purpose, and it's intended to make you feel a certain way. And I mean, that's why people give flowers when you're in the hospital or when you're sick, because they have no real purpose. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they don't do anything. They're just there. But obviously, like the flower industry is ginormous. Like obviously they do serve a purpose and that they make you feel something, and they're beautiful and rare. And I mean, that's how I want a bride to feel on her wedding day, is like surrounded by this piece of nature that marks it as a special occasion. And whenever she comes in contact with those flowers again, like on, in life, or if she sees like a white rose that she had in her bouquet, I want it to transport her back to that place in time and the way she felt. And you know, that's what I want. That's what that would is my ultimate goal, I think, is to bring you back to that special moment in time.
You are so genuine. I love that answer. Oh my God. That's so sweet.
Well, thanks.
Man, I think that I really wish that, especially for 2020, I think it would be awesome if brides could actually, like you were saying, that the dried flowers are super, super pretty. And I think if brides would look and have an interest more in them, one, they're going to last longer and they could keep them even longer past their wedding. And two, I
Yeah,
know,
they can
right.
be purpose.
Yeah, and then after their or during the wedding, that the bouquet is not as heavy because there are some freaking flowers I've had to pick up, and I'm like, how is she not breaking her wrist?
I
They're
know, like
super super
carpal
light.
tunnel over here.
Yeah, I really wish that they would
Yeah,
take on
yeah.
that because I think, like you said, the dried flowers are insanely beautiful and the colors are awesome. And it basically matches your outfit because you have all those like really pretty dried colors on.
Well,
Is there a time that you feel like you truly went above and beyond for a bride?
hmm, did I go above? I like to think I do it every time.
Well, that's good.
um, um, I'm trying to think of a time in particular. Let me think. But while I'm thinking, I will say, if you hire a florist that is going to do this like massive installation, you need to know like these people like time like flowers are time sensitive, and it's this whole production. Like no one has a clue unless you've like been with someone or are used to working in weddings, like this whole production that goes into like if you have this huge installation of an arch or a stairway or something like that, it's just this whole production. Like you're crawling around. I wear like rain boots and a jumpsuit to my weddings because I'm like crawling around on the floor or like in the mud or running through rain. That's a great instance. One time I had this wedding, and the bride like would not decide if it was going to be inside or outside. And I get that, like, because she had this gorgeous view of the mountains and she wanted it to be outside, but she wouldn't decide until last minute, and she decided it's going to be outside, and so I'm out in the rain like trying to like put together all this stuff. But it's fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I'm like, don't expect me to look cute on your wedding day. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm running around like a mad person trying to get this done on time. But yeah, yeah.
Oh
Just
my
know
God.
what your florists are doing. They are doing an entire thing.
Yeah, well, not to mention that you guys have to come up with this idea of how you're going to have it look for your bride and groom beforehand. So the time and effort that you have to put into it way before the wedding is a lot too. You guys are, like you said, you are artists, and I really truly believe that.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
very
much.
welcome, man. Is there anything that you feel is new and coming up for Santara Flowers?
I don't know. The biggest thing would be me going full time. A lot of people don't
Yay!
know, but I do not do flowers full time. I have a full time job at an elementary school. I am a secretary, and my husband is a music teacher. And to pay the
Oh,
bills, that's just what we're doing right now because, yeah, that's what we're doing. But yeah, my biggest dream and goal right now is to be able to go full time with flowers because it's like working for yourself and insurance and all those things. It's just a whole thing, and yeah, that would be the goal.
is that how you met your husband? At the school?
Flowers?
No, at the
Oh,
school.
we met in college. Yeah, we met first day of college.
Oh my God. The fact that you're the secretary and he's a music teacher, I think that's so
I
cute.
know it's a whole thing.
Oh, does he like play guitar when you get home and stuff like that? Or is he
Yeah,
more of,
he's in
oh,
a band.
what kind of band is
People are like, it must be so nice to marry a guitarist. I'm like, yeah, it's great.
it?
We hear it all the time. His
I,
his like practice room is attached to our bedroom, and so it's like, oh my gosh. But it's okay. I go to my flower studio and it's fine.
oh, oh man. Yeah, at least it's on the same property, so that's good. You can just walk away if you need to.
When artists marry each other.
Right. Oh my God. So what do you feel like, what kind of advice would you give a couple who's planning their wedding? Maybe something that will help them like not be so stressed when planning.
When I think back on my wedding day, it's honestly like a blur. And I know so many people that say that. And so when I think back on the most important parts, I don't remember some of like the minuscule details that I thought I would be worried about. But, there are certain things that I really do remember. And just being overwhelmed when I walked into my reception about all the flowers on the table, or whenever my friend Alicia brought me my bouquet, like that that was just huge for me. And so I would think about, what's really going to matter, like 10 years, 20 years from now. Like, what do I think that I will look back on? Is it that I don't know, the hors d'oeuvres were not super hot, or that, I don't know, I had a stain, I don't know, something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I think you should think about what's really important to you as a bride, and like what are the things that make you as a couple, you know, like what's important to you and what you'll look back on. And I would focus on those things. And that's where I would spend my money. That's where I would invest. And, if you have the money and time and effort to do all of this huge elaborate wedding, fantastic. Like, that's awesome. But if you don't, that's okay. I know that I have brides reach out all the time. They're like, do you work with budgets? And I'm like, I can sometimes. Reach out and think about what's important to you. Is it like, if you just want me to make you a bouquet, I would love to make you just a bouquet. If you want me to do 20 centerpieces, I would love to do 20 centerpieces. So, yeah.
There's no harm in asking. I think a lot of couples will get super scared that they do see a price starting ad on someone's website, and then that when they feel like that is not in their price range, they can't reach out and make it somewhat, like you said, it'd be either one bouquet or 26 centerpieces. And I think
Yeah,
if they would just get technically the balls enough to reach out, I think a lot of us would
yeah,
end up
for
saying,
sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's awesome when vendors are able to work with you. I mean, I think a lot of times brides really are surprised at how much flowers cost. Um, like, I really wish I could sit down with each of them and explain to them, I'm not over here making like thousands of dollars. Like,
right.
if I went full time in flowers, it's like, and I wanted to make $30,000 a year, then like, I'm not asking you for crazy amounts of money, but also the cost of flowers is huge.
Right.
Like, the amount that I have to buy for each wedding, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
The cost. I think that it's not their fault. Like, they don't know, they don't work with flowers, but I think it's nice whenever you're able to kind of educate people on
Yeah.
what you're doing, especially like when you're budget conscious. Like, I totally get it. But yeah, yeah.
The fact that you give them like a itemized list of why this is costing what the cost is awesome, because like you were saying, a lot of people don't do that, and as much education as you can give to a bride as to why this is maybe costing a little bit more than what you were thinking is fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's just like having an open line of communication. Um, and I love it when brides are like, what do I do? Like, okay, this is more than I thought it was going to be. Like, do you have ideas to help minimize the cost? That is awesome, as opposed to just being like, oh, this is over budget, like, and then go to someone else.
Right.
I would love to work with you if I can. And there's always solutions. Like, the florists I know are the biggest problem solvers ever, because there's always like things and hurdles, and yeah, there's always things that can be done. Now it's difficult to like nitpick at cost, but when you're open and yeah, willing to have some wiggle room, then yeah, you can do a lot of things.
Like I said in the beginning, your flowers and in general just make you want to get married over and over again. And after even talking to you more, I really would love to get married each year. Maybe every 6 months would be fantastic because you
Let's do it.
right. I'm down. I say get the husband on for it. But
I'll choose anniversary shoot.
amen. I'm down. Well, how can couples get a hold of you? So is there a website they can go to and an Instagram handle?
Yes, we're gonna make this really easy. It's at Santara Flowers and www.santaraflowers.com.
Heck yeah. And Santara is Santara.
All A's.
Heck yeah. Man, thank you seriously so very much for just coming on here and being you and just telling your story and letting brides know how flowers work and what some tips they can do with to implement on their wedding. You are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so thank you. Awesome.